first part of it. This is not a video game making tutorial. I'm trying to say that you guys can make options. It collides with collision, terrain. I can make it do that. Does it have drops on? I think that's what it is on. That makes it, or like that speech bubble that we talked about in the last video, it could float. So you got the little fresh start here because the second video. If you guys are just coming into this, check my channel. The previous video is the first video. But I was explaining to show you that trick next, where you actually use Fortnite's video recorder of you playing the game, and then export that video to an external video editor, and then have CGI video to promote your. But what this is trying to show you how to cut and paste objects. In essence, like if you work in a Microsoft Word document, you're cutting and pasting words. You're just cutting and pasting objects. Left trigger, right trigger. It's very fluid, very intuitive to how a video game experience would be, and it walks you through the whole thing. Seem to have those skins and costumes. There's some ways around that. There's some legal gray areas that haven't really been explored yet, and I can show you some examples of how people are leveraging that. So if you go over to your Fortnite creative map here, when you're in the play menu, you hit square. There's some interesting things you see in here. So to get some more attention to your map, or if you're creating a cool experience, there's one I see right now that's trending. You got this NFC thing. Looks like a KFC kind of ad, right? You could do that. This guy has this thing where it's like a fried chicken place. It's like a place where they're making fried chicken. Again, it's other kinds of experiences. I'm naming all the non-game things. There's this RPG-like one they have now. There's shooting ones. There's zombie ones. Those are obvious. But I want to show you the inventive, creative things people are doing that you may not recognize as happening inside of Fallout. Or not Fallout, Fortnite. Now look at this. Jedi versus Sith 100 versus 100. These are Fortnite skins. And what these people do is they either take the renders of the game, or they can go into there's a Fortnite video maker that records your video footage when you play. They go in there and take pictures sometimes. They export that stuff to Photoshop. Now you don't have to draw that picture. You don't have to do all that stuff. If you take this ad and run it on Instagram, you might get flagged because you don't own Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. However, if you're inside here or you have a YouTube video, then it shows off this map, and these characters are involved in this thing, or you have this promotional thumbnail, then perhaps you're not going to get flagged. These are some little legal gray areas here, right? Because these are Fortnite skins that are inside of Fortnite. You're showing off a Fortnite experience, not necessarily a game. What are you going to use it for? What's the experience you could be showcasing here? This here looks a little bit like Tron with some other skins. That's something that you got from the game. There's also some third-party video editing going on in this photograph here. They're kind of bending and warping things. So that's the stuff if you want, some basic intro into Photoshop, you could do stuff like that, but you don't have to go that far. This is another one that's really popular. It's someone's version of Squid Game. And they programmed it all, that doll that looks a lot like it. You see someone really flexing their artistic talents here. They're creating all kinds of different things inside the game. I wouldn't be surprised either if there's a fusion of two things. It might be part of it Fortnite, it might be part of it the actual Unreal Engine, because the Unreal Engine, you will be able to find the actual 3D character models and some of these other 3D models and manipulate them even further if you have access to it. I would say that's advanced. That's if you want to go that far. My point is I want to introduce you to the idea of coming in, checking some things out. This is another great map I played. It's called the Onboarding Sample Island. I'm going to show you really quick how you can do some simple programming. I believe this is the map. Is this the map that shows you how to unlock a door? I don't think this is one for unlocking a door. I think I probably should show you how to unlock a door. Well, I can't do that if I'm playing their game. I have to make my own map to show you that. That would show you some basic computer logic, and that'll probably be like the end of the stream there for the first video we're doing here. But if you're thinking, I don't know how to program all this stuff, Sammy, I don't know how to write all this stuff in there, it's not like that. It's a very simple way to do it, very intuitive kind of way to go about it. And we're going to go back to my island code here, or we're not going to type in that personal island code. We're going to go back into creative. I'm going to show you some other things you can do with that. Basically, when you start seeing how the logic works, people are discovering ways to make the logic work, to do things that aren't obvious. So you might come in and initially say, well, how do I lock my doors? Or how do I have something roll down a hill? Or how do I have it so when a player starts here, then they teleport here and they can see my museum, or they can see things I have. There was a really powerful, I thought very powerful special experience. I got to have my daughter, where they made a Time magazine and Fortnite got together and he partnered with some map makers to make a Martin Luther King experience that they've let people play on around Martin Luther King's day. It kind of highlights Martin Luther King, what he was about, what the civil rights movement was about, and it's an experience you can go through and you can see how the Washington Monument looked, I believe, and like the lake of reflection. I don't think I can just go into it whenever I want to. I think it only happens during Martin Luther King Day, but again, a very, very cool experience that they created. That I think this is beautiful too. This is a lot of custom work being done here. But we're going to go in here. I'm going to show you how to do some basic programs. This is very simple things. This is how easy it is. You can just hop right back in. There's so much items in here. You can spend hours looking through all the different stuff. I recommend don't get overwhelmed by that. Just try out some simple things. Find some simple things you're looking for. And let's say I go to what's a regular factory. We're just trying to find a factory door. There's some doors here. I can open this up. Now we see all the different items we have here. So this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a door with a door frame. And again, I learned this from a very simple video. I'm not a genius or something like that. Anybody can do this kind of stuff, and that's my point I'm trying to show you. So here, we have a door. And that door instantly opens. There's nothing else to it. If I wanted to build on other stuff here, I could have like a house or whatever. This is not lined up all nice and neat there. Think of them like play sets. Like if you went to a store and you're buying little models for like a decorative table or something like that. Inside these play sets, they have all the items where you can make a much larger building, and all these items look and they feel like they belong together. So again, it helps you create a very aesthetically pleasing look for something that you're trying to make. Like I could go for these walls if I wanted to or whatever, but it doesn't matter. We got a wall down. The next thing I'm doing is I'm going to show you guys devices. This is how they handle teaching programming logic to your children. This is the stuff they're using to help them understand the concepts. That's what it really is about. It doesn't matter so much if you find another tool. If you go over to like another programming tool, let's say you want to learn Python or something like that, or whatever programming language, there's going to be some exact like syntax or like, well, in programming, how does this door actually lock? What's the actual thing behind this? If you wanted to go that deep, which for most people I do not think you need to go that deep, especially if you at the end of the day want the door to open and close, they've already done that for you. You don't really need to know how it works. However, if you wanted to, there will be resources, information that explains to you how all that stuff works. But I have no idea why you'd want to do that. At least not, if you're watching my stream, you don't want to do that. Because this is like very white belt, entry-level kind of stuff. We're going to go here, and instead of looking at the prefabs, you could go over to gallery. This breaks every building down into every single piece of what it is. And I'm going to go ahead and just flick through this really quick while I scratch the side of my head. I mean, we have tropical things. We have things from other countries. We have so many themes. If you were someone 10 years ago and you wanted to be a 3D modeler, you wanted to represent something, show something in a digital space, this would have been out of your reach. Just simply 10 years ago. They have like things like Blender, which is another free program to create 3D objects. But then you have a problem of, well, can you afford to buy all those 3D objects? Can you make them yourself? Do you have the artistic talent? Those barriers of entry are drastically starting to disappear. Not 100%, but again, 5 years from now, who knows how much stuff will be in here. Fortnite updates about every 3 months with substantially, more content, and then that content eventually gets filtered over and checked for Fortnite Creative. And these are things that you could be using, your children could be using to create things. This is just, we're only halfway through that page. While I was casually sitting there talking, we're going to move on. This other section is called devices. This is how they handle programming. It's simple things. This little shape we'll call a pop-up dialog device. If I was to place one of these things down, it's a little invisible device. You can make it invisible that creates pop-up dialogue. So I want to say hi or welcome or, my website is sammyride.com or whatever. Again, check the terms of service. I don't know if you can directly promote a website, but I know you people do promote their Twitter handles and stuff like that. That might be a workaround for it, right? Kids are coming in. So here I have a description. Maybe that's the title. I have to see how the pop-up works. Auto display never, pre-game lobby, game start. Let's see if it does that when the game starts. So hi, and then this is the body of the text. Response types, you can have this so it has buttons so you can respond to the pop-up like yes, let's start, or no, don't start. And let's say when responding, button 1 transmits on, let's say it transmits on channel 2, right? So we'll do that. We'll do the 2 buttons. Button 1 does that. Button 3 does this, right? Maybe we'll say, do you want to open the door? I'm just making this up, but she's showing you how simple this is. Do you want to open the door? Again, on the keyboard and mouse, it'd be even faster. Do you want to open a door? To open a door. This is longer than it needs to be. All right. Okay. There should be a question mark there. It's bothering me now. Okay. Do you want to open a door? This shows up at the game start. Hi. 2 buttons to respond. When responding, button 1 transmits. It sends a signal, right? Think of it that way, right? So in computer code, this is very basic stuff. I always like to think about ones and zeros, and binary is yes and no, right? So if it doesn't transmit, it doesn't transmit. It doesn't send electricity. But if it does transmit, it's transmitting. So this situation, if the person pressed that first button, button 1, it's going to send a signal. Where I want that signal to go to the device that unlocks the door, right? When it responds on pressing button 2, it does nothing. Let's say it doesn't lock the door or does anything. Let's go ahead and leave that there. Now over here we have this door, but naturally you can't lock it. The game needs to know that this is the door I'm talking about. I can have literally 499 doors because there's about 500 channels I think you can put on a Fortnite creative map. Maybe you can have more using some other devices that like send signals in multiple places, but don't worry about that. Let's go into here and show you how you would lock the door. So there's a device. There's lots of devices. But there's one specifically for locking and unlocking doors. It's a very common function, right? And that's what happens. You're going to have situations in life, creatively where maybe you're doing something and you want some really specific customized thing. That might not be represented here, but what wasn't here 2 years ago, there's lots of things here now. So as you get in and you start learning about these things, this is going to become a language that people can communicate with in the future. So like everyone had pictures when I was a kid. People were not taking pictures to just show everything and putting words on them, making memes. It became, with technology, pictures became a way we communicate. Music is something that people use a lot now. You look at TikTok, you have people using music to communicate in funny, creative ways. Our children are going to use video games to communicate in ways, and when I really shouldn't say video games, they're going to use 3D experiences powered by the same technology that powered video games. That money industry is going to turn into a place where if a kid wants to make something funny, he can easily hop in and create some kind of virtual thing, have a character he throws in, maybe has a little green screen or something like that, and makes a little funny video, maybe in 5-10 minutes, sends it to a friend, something like that, and it'll be that disposable to them. It's just a way that they can communicate, right? We're going to go ahead and place on this lock device. When I put this on the structure, this is telling the game, with the way Fortnite Creative works, that you can, it belongs to this structure, basically. And my pasting thing is not working the way I thought it was going to work. That was wrong. Paste. Okay, so I have it snapped to a grid. So I'm going to make it so the collisions for everything, and there's documentation that explains how the grid works, what it means if you're snapping to 4, snapping to whatever. I think 4 looks good. I don't like 4, actually. Well, yeah, you know what? I think 4 would be fine. Let's go in here and, with a little trial and error, we'll delete these. We don't need these. There's a bunch in here we don't need. And this is, again, me coming in here. I'm just doing this live right in front of you. I didn't come in here and do a lot of big testing. Now that device I want it is right inside. Oh, there it goes. Customize like device. So visible during game, I'm putting no because I don't want you to see this. We're just using this to do code, right? Starts locked, I'm going to put no. Or unlock door, yes. So it is already going to start lock. And lock when receiving from one channel, I could have made this like the second button locked it, but we're already starting locked. So open when receiving from channel 2. We're done. So that's this in theory. And I just made this up right now. There was no preamble or whatever. I didn't research this. I use some basic functions, probably some brief tutorials. I'm understanding the logic of how the game works, and from there, you can go into all those other devices and do your own thing. But let's see what happens. We're going to try it live. I might fail. We're going to start the game, the quote-unquote game, right? Hi, do you want to open the door? Let me hit circle. Circle should do nothing. The door should still be locked. It's locked. I can't go in. And we're done. There's no way for me to unlock that door, right? We didn't program it that way. Game over, right? Go ahead, end game. We're going to wait for a little bit. We're going to load it back in. Now you're going to see. I hit square for play again. Let's see if that's a fast way to go about it. Hi, do you want to open the door? I'm going to hit X. That should have sent a signal on channel 2 to the lock device. The lock device is on the wall. That should then tell that wall, hey, there's a door piece here. Unlock it. It's the exact frame of the door. So, I'm going to be in a situation where I shouldn't have fell over here. I need to fall where the door was. Let's restart the game again. Because since I'm on this other person's map, they have it so I guess when you respawn, you fall through the air. What am I looking for? My door I put down is over here. There it goes. So I had to pay attention and just land over there. Because I don't want to have to run through this whole entire map. This whole entire map has all these cool devices. That little space floor, that's a device. That's not naturally the floor. There's actually an island down there. That's a visual effect they created with this effect device. It's a device that helps you create visual effects. A lot of popular different themes that you can have. Now I hit yes. Is this door unlocked? Look at that door. Now that was opened. I used open when receiving from channel, so it actually opened a device. The door is still locked, but it opened it. So let's see if I can change that to make it so it unlocks it, but then I still unlock the door. It's real simple. You're probably already ahead of me thinking, oh, well, that's simple. He'll just go to the other channel and make that be what channel 2 receives from. Yeah, it's that simple. And I'm sure if you have any person who knows computer coding, they're probably thinking, man, back in their day, that would have been extremely hard or much more intensive than you and I sitting here chatting on a stream and me programming that function into that device from one device to another. And that's what it is for your children. These things that might seem complicated, like computer programming or video game programming logic, is now within their grasp at a very early age because they're using the same controller they're already playing video games with, using the same concepts, problem solving. The gamification of learning how to make games is happening inside of the game. Fortnite Creative. And Epic Games will arm your children with that knowledge, and they will go forth. And it benefits Epic. They do sometimes find small game makers, people making certain experiences, and give them grants. There's money they can get from Epic sometimes, so they might partner with them. And also, of course, there's other ways. If you're more popular or you get more people to come to your thing, that's the way you can do it. Epic also sometimes sees what you make. If you think you have artistic bone in you, and might ask you to make something else for them. There's lots of different things you can do. It's another way to help you grow your community. Open when receiving from and turning off. Toggle lock when receiving from channel 2. So this will be the last example I'm going to give. Now we're going to change that. That was that simple. Just reading what's on the screen, no education, just understanding the simple thing. Hi, do you want to open the door? Yes, I want to open the door. The door isn't open, but now I have the ability to open the door. It's unlocked. I could then put another device, like a button device, somewhere else on the map. I can say, hey, when that button's pressed, lock that door. You can maybe make a jail cell. You maybe can make some kind of escape room. I know there's a lot of people out there who think I have a good idea for an escape room, and they'll probably wait, go to the bank, and get a giant loan, try to get a brick and mortar location where only people in your area can make escape rooms. Meanwhile, you could try out that idea, the logic for that idea, using all these kind of items, maybe even create an escape room online, this version. Perhaps you already have an escape room. Well, you think there's kids in your city that play Fortnite? Maybe you can say, hey, look, that cool Fortnite, that escape room that's in Fortnite, look at this, it's actually in our town. That could be another way to reach your people. You already know something about design. You already know the layout of your business. You already got some blueprints for your map. That's a way that you can start it. This is a free idea. This is what Samurai Syndicate's all about. Sharing ideas, empowering each other, getting people out there, watch people be successful. Oh, Here it is. This is actually a section I mentioned earlier about explains what the grid does. Someone created a visual example of what it means if you use grid 8. So grid 8 shows that the items are this far apart. So if you want to equally put things down, you can use grid 8 that way. You say, actually, I want equal things that are like real far apart. That's grid 1. You also can do no grid and just move things around. But I digress. A lot to learn, and it's as you're playing the game. We're not sitting down doing anything unnatural. You could do this from the comfort of your couch. There's so many interesting things there. Once you get an idea about this, the question then becomes for you, how can I supercharge my business with this? What can I do with this? You can make a few bucks off of Fortnite. You can make video content showing off your things that you're doing. Who knows? Who knows? There's going to be a person that's going to have an idea similar to yours, and they're going to use Fortnite to get that idea some attention, and you're kicking yourself saying, man, I watched Samurai stream, and he told me about this, and I didn't know. Or you're not going to know, and then I'm going to bring up this video 5 years from now and see, Sammy told you, and then you're going to follow me to the ends of the earth because you realize I am the Messiah, and I'm the person bringing you and all your family millions of dollars. So that's it for Samurai Stream this week. I'm going to hop off. Thank you guys so much for chilling with me. I hope you guys learned something. I know I did. It's always a fun time being with you guys and doing these things. Follow me on Discord. Come to samurai.com. Join the Discord. Check us out. We're going to have exclusive content over there. And I'm back next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.